Hey guys, welcome back. Blue Potato here with another fun pick for Wild Rift. This time it's going to be almost 100% crit Lucian. In the middle of the game, the enemy surrendered, so I didn't finish the build, but here's the background on it. So there's two key components to this build. Light Slinger, which is his passive, and Relentless Pursuit, which is his third or his E. So the goal of this game is to use Relentless Pursuit, hit somebody with his passive, and then use Q with his passive, and then W with his passive. Every time you hit somebody with their passive, it resets their third ability. And with Navori Quickblades, every time you critical shot, you reduce the cooldowns of your other abilities that are not your ultimate. So the whole premise of this is to have as little cooldown as possible. The only thing I wish I would have changed earlier was the mana flow band. I was going to get Hunter Genius, which reduces cooldown even more, but I thought I'd need mana even more, although it wasn't really necessary in the game. So this game is really interesting. We had a Thresh jungle who decided not to jungle. He was in the mid lane practically all laning phase. So this game was going to show you how I deal with tilt mentality and how to deal with members of the team that aren't really cooperating. And just in case you guys are curious, here is the end screen. KO went 3 and 6, Thresh went 1 and 6, I went 15 and 2, Senna went 5 and 0, and Ziggs went 2 and 4. Now remember, this build isn't meant to do a lot of damage, it's just meant to be a lot of fun, because you're zooming around, dashing all over the place, keeping up with people. So keep that in mind. Like, obviously this build isn't optimal, but it works. That's the whole premise of this series, is that although it may not sound like it works, it could work, and it's fun. It's a game. Here's my biggest tip for you playing middle lane or Baron lane. Because you don't depend on a support and you're not playing by yourself as jungle, you have to remember most of the enemy's abilities. So for example, Lux. I know her 4 abilities are a snare, a shield, a bomb she can detonate, and a laser. You can even get down to a granular level of knowledge and know what their cooldown is. So for example, she just used her snare. If she doesn't have the cooldown ability or rune, that cooldown period is 9 seconds. So I have 9 seconds to engage on her. Here I take advantage of the fact that it was barely off cooldown. I exhaust her, I use my E, and I burst her down. That was because she misplaced and mistimed her snare to where I can position myself in a much more advantageous way. Now that she's dead, I push this as far as I can to the turret and I CS as much as I can. She's back in lane, so I back off and let her farm and push towards me. And our Thresh just died to Grump. RIP Thresh. So the first item I purchased is Essence Reaver, which has 2 passives. One is right there at the bottom. The second one is called Mana Siphon, which means every time I do a basic attack, I restore 3% of missing mana. So I make it back to lane, and I see our Thresh is still level 1, and we have all of our jungle creeps still alive. He follows me to lane, and so I think he's maybe going to help me out with a gank or something, but he starts autoing my minions. This is troublesome because I wanted to set up a freeze here, but I obviously can't anymore. Then he starts taking my CS, and I'm concerned, like, what's going on here? I was going to type on him, but you know what, I thought, let's leave it alone. Maybe he's lost, or wants to heal up, or maybe get some experience so he can go back to jungle safely. But gold, I can recuperate. The one issue I have here is experience, which is super vital at the start of the game. Since Thresh is here, I'm sharing experience points with him, and Lux is sharing with no one. That means that the lead I had is gone. You can see that our levels are exactly the same now. She's caught up just because Thresh is hanging out in my lane. So now I'm pinging him to retreat and go back to your jungle. I was so focused on Thresh I forgot to upgrade my W at level 3. So I don't have a speed up. And here you'll see me wait for Lux to use her snare. Now that she used it, I'm going to go in, I'm going to try to kill her. In the perfect situation, I could have killed her because I would have had a leveled advantage. But because I shared experience points with Thresh, Lux was able to catch up to me, so she has the same level as I do. Now you understand why experience is probably the most important currency in the game in the start as opposed to gold. Because you can always farm, you always have passive income, but experience points is hard to come by, especially when you have Thresh just stealing half of your experience points. So this laning phase isn't going as I planned, and you'll see me here type out what. I was about to say, what are you doing here, bud? But I decided not to. Keep the inner peace. I see him standing still at the jungle, and he's doing that a lot throughout the game. He just stands still. This time he starts Raptor, so I'm going to give him a hand. I'm going to give him 4 auto attacks and then go back to my lane. Maybe he's struggling in the jungle or he doesn't quite understand the concept of jungling. The other mistake I did here was use my dash as opposed to my Q there, because now I don't have my dash, so if Lux tries to stare me, I can't move away, which she actually managed to land there. And I'm still not leveling up my second ability. So at this point, I'm just upsetting myself watching this video. But, tilt mentality is a real thing, and it happens and it affects all of us. In any way, I can consider this a 4v6, where it means that I have one less ally and the enemy team has one additional ally, because the jungler isn't really helping out the team in any case here. And you'll see he walks away from the jungle and he tries to take my honey fruit. That's what he's standing here for, so I stand here all defensive like, hey, get away, this is my honey fruit. So there's a lot I need to think about here, right? Thresh is trying to take my honey fruit, which I need because I'm pretty low. I need a CS because I need to out level and out gold Lux, and Lux is pushing my turret, so I need to freeze. I just lost like a minion because he's trying to take my honey fruit. All of these things are happening, and all these things I'm thinking about, and I still haven't leveled up my W, and come on, do it, and I didn't do it. Come on. After farming for a bit, I went back to my base. I even responded. I was like, hey Thresh, what are you doing here, buddy? Get out of middle lane. He decides to, 1v1 Lux and just dies. So at this point, the lead I had on Lux is absolutely gone, right? So this really sucks. I'm really aggressive here. Obviously I put this out wrong. I'm just a little tilted here. You can tell that I'm not really playing properly, and I almost die here, and oh my god, look how close that was. Thankfully I survived, so I live to see another day. Here comes Rengar. He's coming in hot. He sees me. He wants blood, and he's just walking and tanking turrets. I auto him just in case he dies to turret so I can get the kill, and he dies. Not even close, baby. So right now we have Kale at 0-2, Thresh at 0-2, myself at 3-0, Ziggs at 1-1, and Senna at 1-0. And technically as a team we're winning at 5 kills versus 4 kills, but I have 3 of those, so the rest of my team isn't really pulling their weight. You see Thresh indicating he wants to go after Rift Herald, but we don't have any lane priority. Kale just is barely getting to lane, I'm barely getting to lane. And so I'm pushing this wave up pretty hard, and I see Lux backing all the way up to her turret, which means she's probably going to recall. That means I have time to go for Rift Herald, so I tell Thresh, hey, let's go for Rift Herald. In this game, the necessary win condition is for me to get Rift Herald. I will not allow Thresh to take it, even though he has Smite. Yes, he did just use his ultimate to try to take Rift Herald. Interesting mechanic, doesn't really work out for him though. Lux uses her combo on me and I don't die, thankfully, and I think I do manage to take Rift Herald here, which is fantastic. Now I get to add more pressure into the lanes and see if I can help around the map. Now, sometimes I feel like Lux's abilities are a little bit wider than what the target says. Like here, for example, she throws out her bomb and I should be safe, and for some reason it hits me. Like, it didn't even finish loading up, and that kind of sucks. And she actually does it twice. So that is a little bit upsetting, because that's 2 damage I shouldn't have taken, but I did anyway. I mean, it's spaghetti code. So Ziggs has been trying to ping to attack Dragon for the longest time, but Thresh was standing in middle for the longest and just not doing anything. So now we're going to try to contest Dragon with a 4v4. It's going to be Senna, Ziggs, myself, and Thresh versus Lux, Rengar, Blitzcrank, and Ezreal. And the unfortunate thing here is that I get hit with every single CS known and imaginable. So right here I'm going to hit with the knockup and a hook. I'm going to dash away to land onto the snare. I get ulted on twice by Blitz and Lux. I managed to survive some way somehow. I flash out of there to be safe. Rengar tries to get out of there too, to chase me maybe, and he dies. And Lux is running away from Senna. We got a great advantage here, and Dragon was almost going to reset there, so I had to go back in there with my dash. And we managed to secure all of that. We managed to get all the kills. Thresh is the only one that died, so that's a pretty big win for us. After that big win, I dropped Herald that middle lane and tried to see how far I can push. Now Lucian can't target the turret with his first or second ability, so I hit the minions with them. And I drop it down to 1900 so the Herald can take it without me wasting my auto attacks or my ability cooldowns. And here I'm going to try to see if I can take a second one, but I managed to dive in too early and I take the shot from the turret, and then Lux kills me with her ultimate. RIP Lucian. Off the 30-second death timer, you can see Thresh is standing where he was when I died. And this will be the first fight where I use Navori's Quickblades. So here Thresh is going to die to Lux, and I'm just going to... So here's a slowed down version of what happened. So I'm going to E, passive, Q, passive, W, passive. My E is already back down cooldown, so I'm going to use my E, passive, Q, and I get snared. So I dash, I use my passive to hit 2 shots off Lux, and I kill her. My dash is back off cooldown, so E, then Q, then passive, and that's Rengar dead. And that's the fun of having crit chance Lucian, he just pops off. And here's something important that you guys should be doing when you guys do get a nice kill off the jungler. Check to see if their jungle camps are open. If they are, that's free experience and gold for you, and that takes gold and experience from them. In this case, I was able to successfully take Raptors and Red from Rengar. And since I don't know if I can fight Nautilus, I decided to leave Krugs alone since Kale just died to him. I do see Ezreal middle lane, which is mispositioned. So here you're going to see me pop off again with these tiny cooldowns. I'm going to use Exhaust for safe measure, but Ezreal's as good as dead. So in this minute, I've taken all of Rengar's jungle camps, I've killed Ezreal. Now I'm going to rotate towards Baron lane because I see 30 seconds left for Rift Herald to show up, so I need to apply pressure on that side. So I move towards Baron lane and I take Scuttlecrab first. This is just so I can get back to Herald as fast as possible. Gives me vision just in case I'm going to get ganked, and a speed up if I need to get away. I see the turret is at 200 HP, so I just take it myself to get that extra gold. And that's 250 gold just to secure it myself. Now Rift Herald is spawning in 2 seconds and I have lane priority here. So my whole team is kind of gravitating towards Rift Herald, but I'm the win condition, so the only thing I need to worry about is stealing this from the rest of my team. And Rift Herald secured for myself, very nice. Surprisingly enough, the enemy team didn't even try to fight us for Rift Herald, so that was free for us to take. But thankfully I managed to secure it, so I can have my gold lead and I can help carry this team to victory. I had 11,000 gold, the closest one to me I believe was Kale with 7,000, so that's a 4,000 gold lead on my own team. And on the enemy team it was Lux who had 9,000. And because Lucian is so strong, positioning here doesn't even matter. I'm like frontlining this and you know, I'm just dashing away from Ezreal and Nautilus and I'm keeping up with them and I got a triple kill. And this is all because of the short cooldowns. So again, he doesn't do a lot of damage, but he does consistent fast damage. And since my whole team is alive and we're all pushing, I just drop Rift Herald here to secure this. And so I dive here so I can get Lux to stop focusing my team because they're all pretty low, and with a good ultimate like right there, she would have killed them if I hadn't engaged on her. And look at the chat. Nautilus says my team, LOL, as if we don't have a troublemaker of our own. And just because you can use all chat doesn't mean you should. You might have noticed that Ziggs is being chased by Blitzcrank and Rengar, and they ran him all the way down to his base. This is crazy. They were thirsty. And, you know, luckily I can just chase down Blitzcrank and Rengar. I'm not really worried about it. Like, I have survivability, I have cooldowns that don't exist. And unfortunately I got KS'd here, but whatever, it is what it is. I have enough kills. I have 11 kills, so I don't really need to worry about that. Ezreal's misplaced, that's another double kill. Lux is running away for her life, but this is when I get blind and, you know, mistakes happen. I just chase her down forever, and I probably should have stopped, but you know, I'm like, I'm going to kill her because I want to get my 13th kill, and I ended up dying, so I got my second death instead. Now let's take a look at the scorecard. Kill at 2 and 4, Thresh at 1 and 4, myself at 12-2, Ziggs at 2-2, Senna at 4-0. The enemy team is Nautilus at 4-3, Rengar at 1-5, Lux at 5-5, Blitzcrank at 0-2, and Ezreal at 1 and 4. So one of the biggest concerns I have when we play the games is people say, oh, I'm carrying the game, I have like 15 kills, but nothing is happening, I can't win my games. Macro is a key component of winning games, so at the bottom you can see all the things and all the highlights that we've done today just by myself. So you can see just how much I'm influencing this game. But of course, there's positive macro and negative macro. For example, this engage on Baron was a bad call. Even though we have 21 kills to their 11 kills, Baron Nashor is a big debuff. It removes your armor and magic resist, so when the enemy engages on you, you are really squishy. And these calls are the reason why people lose games. I decided to go for Dragon. There's no debuff and it's a permanent buff, right? No one contested me for it, so that was free. And of course, the easy route is to always blame your team, right? Because you feel like you're the best player and you're influencing the game the most, but sometimes that's not the case. Alright, enough nonsense. So this is going to be round 2 of me chasing the enemy team down to their base. I'm waiting to see if someone's going to misposition themselves, and there's Rengar. Perfect positioning for myself, bad positioning for him. Now I chased him down. Ezreal's here, I flash to get away from the snare. I'm also trying to avoid Blitzcrank's hook, but he managed to get me, and this is a fantastic play by him. He's protecting these guys like no tomorrow. Thankfully I get 2 kills, or Senna gets 1, I get 1, and I miss my ultimate. I forced Lux to flash, but this was much cleaner than the last fight. And here I'm using all chat to compliment Blitzcrank because he did the perfect job for support. Both Lux and Ezreal managed to survive because he managed to catch me out. Some people deserve to be complimented, and Blitzcrank did a fantastic job. I feel like he should know that, and whether that comes from his team or my team, I'm gonna compliment him anyway. Now, people that are watching this video, tell me what you see that's wrong with these people going for Baron again. If you don't know, I'll give you the answer right now. You see Baron lane has minions pushed up pretty much halfway, almost closer to our base than the enemy's base. Instead of going for Baron and risking them dying again, why not push that lane out? So you'll see me in the opposite side of the map because I see that they're going to engage and fight for Baron. I'm just going to push this lane for free. There's no one going to bother me because they're going to obviously focus on Baron. But split pushing doesn't have to be something you do mindlessly. For example, I'm recalling it here because I know that my minions, my 2 waves of minions, can push to start and take it by themselves. I'm going to recall, get an item, and join back with my team so I can help them fight this. Now Lux is unstoppable, she is popping off. Ezreal got hit with his ultimate, so my home guard speed up kind of went away. And this is really funny, like I managed to kill Lux, but both Ezreal and Rengar survived with like 1 HP. But now I chase mindlessly like a chicken with his head cut off. I'm over here trying to kill this Rengar because he has like negative 1 HP at this point. And so when I blocked off the chat, Nautilus had said that I used exhaust on him, which I didn't. He did it on me. So this time, since the exhaust was up, I used it on him so he can actually not be a liar anymore. So since it's just Senna and myself at base, I decided to, go back, take their farm and their jungle, and also push out this side wave because it's closer to me, right? My minions are like right here next to me. But at this point, the enemy team surrendered because they felt like there was no chance. And at the end of the day, both teams had their fair share of silly geese and ended up being in our favor. So just be mindful when someone is doing mistakes, you always consider the fact that the enemy team can make mistakes too. Taking advantage of those mistakes can help you win this games. So there are the medals I got 7 of them, which is insane. And I got a bunch of like these little accolades at the end of the game, and you can just read what they all are. But good game. I hope this was entertaining and fun for you guys to watch. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day, and since the new season is already out, may you guys climb effortlessly and easily, and I hope you guys all hit your goals.